This is the how-to video for Short E Mastery Kit. Let's get started. All right, before we can get started on how to use the kit, let's talk about my vowel presentation. So I introduce my vowels in this order: A, I, O, U, and then lastly E, which is where we're at right now. If your student hasn't mastered A, I, O, and U, I strongly suggest that you go back, grab one of my other kits, and start at where they're most solid. So we want the student to have mastered A, I, O, and U before we get here. We also want them to know all their consonant sounds. So let's talk about how to use this kit. Short E comes with a user guide. So the Short E Bug Book user guide will tell you things like vocabulary words and comprehension skills. It'll talk about the fizzle and the floss rule. It'll give you lots of tips and tricks on how to use these books the best with your student, how to get the most bang out of your buck, so to speak. There are two books in this series. One of the books relates to fishing, talks about everything about this little cute little adorable bug, Jeff, who is fishing. Now, if your student doesn't know anything about fishing, the vocabulary words in this book are going to be helpful for them. They might not know what a rod is, or they might not know a fishing net. They might not know a lot of things that are happening in this book. So check out those vocabulary words and make sure your student understands them before we start reading the book. And the user guide contains what I'm referring to as conversation starters. So to really understand if your student is comprehending everything that they're reading and they're not just word readers, let's talk about what the book was about. So we'll give you some ideas about what to do, but you using your own questions are great for comprehension. Alrighty, so the books that you're going to see are going to be large print. They are going to have in the back of the book 2 or 3 lists of words. We're going to have the words that are the short E words. We're going to have all the other words with A, I, O, and U. And we're also going to see irregular words. So irregular words to me are the words that students can't sound out. So the words the, for example, or they will be considered irregular because the student hasn't understood maybe what schwa is yet, or maybe you talk to your student about schwa. So if that's the case, then they understand that the E in the word the isn't such saying like we're teaching them now with short E. It's saying which is a schwa sound. So definitely check out those lists on the back of the book. You're going to want your students to read those maybe before they read the book. They can read them again after they read the book. It's all about automaticity and accuracy. So remember, we want the kids to automatically sound the words out. We don't want them to be saying things like J, F. We want Jeff. And the sooner that they can pull those sounds together, the better. Once those words are mastered, they're going into their orthographic processor. They will always be able to read those words. So automaticity and accuracy, that's what we're shooting for. All right, we're going to play some games in this deck, or in this kit rather. We've got 2 decks of cards. The handy dandy card holders are going to be really helpful for your students so that they can free up their hands. We can do tracing on the table to sound words out if kids get stuck. The card holders are perfect for this. They have been made by 2 people up here in northern Minnesota. A friend of mine who's a woodworker and another friend of mine who does engraving. So we've got local products, which is really exciting for me. I keep everything local. The first game that we're going to look at is Ken, Jen, and Ben. Ken, Jen, and Ben, as you can tell by the title of the cards, are going to have the words separated out into rhymes, R-I-M-E, meaning the word Ken is the onset and the end part is the rhyme. So we can work on word families if the kids are struggling with this particular group. Oftentimes G's are tough for kids. So like words like Beg and Meg might be more difficult for them. You might want to pull those words out and they're just reading those in isolation. You might want to pull out the wilds and use these cards just for your flashcards. So there we're just using maybe the EG words and we're flashing through those with them to have them read them automatically. So words in isolation are really important because we're not depending on context clues. So you can either follow the directions on the back of the cards. Sometimes on my website, the videos that people have seen there, they'll leave ideas on how else the card games can be played, so you can check those out too. One way that kids really enjoy is a memory game. So maybe you play memory with them by flipping the cards over. Not all of them, but particular, maybe they're just doing the EN group and they're looking for cards that end in EN. Or you get another deck of cards and you play Go Fish. So use your imagination, play these games as many ways as you want. Now, the next card game is all together now. So now that we've got short E going on, we can look at all the other vowels too. So this game is really fun. I've got directions for it on a little video on my website. So go there so you can see how the game is played. That'll give you a better idea. But once again, use your imagination. Use these cards however you want. The idea is that the kids are reading more words than what they could ever imagine they're reading, and you're getting them to practice. So words in isolation are happening again here. We're going to play tic-tac-toe. So you get the magnetic wand. You're going to plop the little chips on top of the word. You're going to say the word. You're going to read the word. And then when you're done, whoever wins, you guys just swipe it off and play again. You've got many pages of tic-tac-toe. You also will find some tic-tac-toes here that are going to have all the vowels. So those are going to be fun too. So we're going to want to make sure that the kids are reading and reading and reading. So after we've read words a million times, we're going to write words. So you're going to dictate some of the words that you find in the back of the book to the students. Stay away from those fizzle words. We'll talk about that more in the reader's guide, the user guides. We'll talk about that, but also we can go visit what floss and fizzle are in a blog post of mine that I've got on my website. So dictate the words, have the students say the sounds when they're writing the words, make sure that they're clipping their sounds, they don't have a at the end. So I would choose, 15 words maybe, have them write, read the words back when they're done, erase the words, do some more words if they're ready. Put those words into sentences. Okay, more information. So I did not talk about the sound pack. So one way that people are using the sound pack is to do a little drill before you get started with your little lesson that you're doing with your students. Pull out the cards that they're doing, so all the vowels now, all the consonants, and just flash through them as quickly as you can and have the students give you the phoneme grapheme association there. Don't do the ones that they don't know because that's not fair. And so just use the ones that they've got. You can get this on my website, print them out at start cardstock and flip away. So I talked about the fizzle and the floss rule earlier. I suggest that you go read it so you know exactly what I'm talking about here. You can find that in my section where it says blog there. Just go down. There's a lot of other blog posts too. Some of them may be interesting to you. So go ahead and read those. Now, you have more questions? I'm guessing that everyone's going to have a question now and then. I have office hours. Yay. So come see me. Send me an email. I'll send you the Zoom link and then we can talk about it. I want to know what's happening with these kits. I want to know how successful you're feeling with your students. I want to know what's stumping you. So let's talk. Please, I will see you Mondays between 12 and 1 Central Time. Alrighty, and thank you so much for stopping by this video. It has been a good time talking to you, and I want to see you again. Thanks a lot.